Hello everyone, this is Javi Perera from Caldero Sound, vocalist of Obsidious, and today I am going to react to a vocal cover of our song Iconic done by James Peterson. I have to say that I met this guy at the concert we gave this past December 2024 in Stuttgart, and he wanted to talk to me about what I thought of the vocal version, and I told him that I couldn't tell him anything since I hadn't seen it because I was planning to react to it and make a video for the channel, so here we are. Well, I have to say that this is a song that I am personally scared to perform, so for starters, hats off to you for trying. That said, I'll shut up and let's have a look. Here is the vocal version, which I will do in two parts. First, it will be a visceral and organic reaction without pausing the video because I hate that most people who make this kind of content stop a lot of times and miss details that often go unnoticed because they keep pausing. After that, I will do a more analytical part. I will stop and analyze part by part what I think about the performance. So, without further ado, let's take a look and see how you've done it.
I'm walking against the current, dampening my feet into my thoughts, twirling lights that lead me to nowhere. Faded pictures I yearn as they go away.
Very good. I was pleasantly surprised. I have to say that when it comes to the screams, you remind me a lot of the way they are done in the Norwegian black metal style of the 90s, like Mayhem, Burzum, even in the high-pitched ones. There's a certain influence of 90s Norwegian black metal. As for the clean vocals, I have to say that as far as I can tell, the vocal register tends to be a bit nasal. I try to combine the chest voice and the nasal voice, but there are certain parts where I also noticed a certain 80s or 90s power metal feel. But we are going to analyze every part. Let's check it.
I'm walking against the currents, dampening my feet into my thoughts, twirling lights that lead me to nowhere.
First of all, I can see that the vocal processing is quite raw, meaning that it has no or minimal compression or equalization. I also have to say that there is a little bit of reverb, and as I said at the beginning, the voice placement tends to be a little more nasal. Here you can see the influence I was talking about, at least that's what it reminds me of.
Faded pictures, I yearn as they go
The problem with such low gutturals is that because they have so little air support, they tend to get lost in the mix, something that it's usually compensated for with compression. But in this case, it sounds like a completely raw performance without any kind of processing, such as compression, equalization, etc.
Concealed in a cage, I try to find a way to rifle through my mind and find the key that will unlock that door.
Good harmonies, very well done.
Faded pictures, I yearn as they go away.
That high note is properly held, very good. This part has a peculiarity. The voice has to be a continuous flow. He's done quite a few cuts here, which is something I personally do when I perform this song live. Mainly because, first of all, it's quite a demanding song vocally, very taxing, with a lot of textural changes that can be exhausting for your throat. So, if you do the vocals in the Devin Townsend style, which is basically bellowing out a tonal voice and adding distortion by putting it in that register, you can get into some complications that are usually made up for by adding layers of vocals, which also gives it a richness when you record the album. At the moment, however, the only thing I can see here is that he's making too many cuts for air, and I would have liked to see it more fluid, but that's a matter of personal taste. And now we come to what I think is the most fucked up part of the song.
When sometimes resound in the wind, the unheard echoes of my cry.
What I see in this part is that it's very dramatic harmonically, and the voice has to go with it. So I'm trying to make a more lyrical and dramatic voice, playing with the dynamics and forcing the voice in a classical way. On the softer parts of the melody, the dynamics are a bit more sparse, but I have to admit that this particularly part is the most difficult vocally of the whole song because it is always dancing in a very high register and it can exhaust the vocal cords a lot, and I mean a lot.
I see the light in the eye.
In fact, I consider this the most complicated phrase of the whole segment vocally, at least for me.
Coming through the glass and guiding the path to...
When you get to that point in the phrase, your vocal cords are totally worn out. At least that what happens to me. I also have to say that I don't practice as much as I should, but what can I do?
The iconic man.
He went totally power metal here with this vibrato at the very end. I didn't add any vibrato because I wanted to give it intensity and power, and to do that I have to give it the feeling of a scream, so I made the line completely flat. I didn't add vibrato or any kind of ornamentation because I wanted it to sound a bit more heartbreaking. If I wanted it to sound more lyrical, I would no doubt have chosen that vibrato, but in the context of the song and in the harmonic context, my ears were asking me to do the flat note, but on the other hand, I have to say that it is a difficult note to sing. I really like the way he has projected that growl. Low mid-range guttural, more towards the mid-range. I like the way he projected it, I like the texture of it, 10 out of 10. We're back to the same problem with the low growls. You don't have as much projection and you lose a bit of volume. But, well, things that, I say again, can be fixed with post-processing of the voice. Notice how the voice recovers projection as it rises in pitch. Very good, very good. At the throat level, the compression of the vocal cords was very good and the distortion was kept constant. Well done.
Silent, rooted deep inside, makes me lost in reverie, and this body doesn't feel like home.
I would have liked a little bit more vocal support in that part so that it didn't sound like he was trying to get into the falsetto register, but that he had a little bit more punch in the mixed voice or maybe a little contribution in the chest voice, but again, it can be tricky. Here I have to say something about the pronunciation of closed vowels. When I'm singing in the middle register, I like to open these vowels to give them a more intense feeling, to give them more power. I miss a little bit of distortion in that segment. What I miss here is that he would have tried to make the transition from a melodic singing voice to a full screaming voice. I have to admit that it's not easy, but I would have liked to see him try. We're back to the same thing as before, too many cuts in breathing. Doing continuous screaming live is also quite difficult because you come from a very long scream and suddenly you have to do another sequence of continuous distorted vocals. There are parts where I have to admit that I had to take a breath, but I don't think much of it because I do it myself. That beginning was a bit nasal. I would have liked it to sound more lyrical, more impostural. That vibrato sounded a bit weird. Well done with those harmonies, well done. He left out one of the harmonies, but that's okay. The final harmony, which for me is the one that counts the most, is there and he nailed it very well. Well, overall the reaction has been mostly positive. It was a good attempt. It's not an easy song to cover, to be honest. The only thing, as a piece of advice, I'd like to see a little less nasality in the voice and take it from here a little more towards here and take it into the mixed vocal range. That would give it a bit more body. The growls are a bit too black metal for what the song is asking for, but that's a matter of taste. But in general, the cover defends the song quite well, taking into consideration its difficulty. Well, that's about the reaction. If you enjoyed this type of content, please leave your comments and suggestions in the comment section below. To all of you who have come here and watched this video, thank you very much and I hope to see you soon on stage. See you soon!